Hi guys, it's Bly. And I gotta say, simulation sports games are dead. And no, I'm not here to trash on Madden, or NBA 2K, or College Football 26. SoftDrinkTV has that under control, and I'm not gonna chomp your plate, bud. Also, you guys should subscribe to him. Instead, I'm gonna do my best to sell y'all on a game I recently found, an absolute gem in a pile of modern sports game slop that we receive every year. This is my offer to the simulation sports community, a game that might be very niche and hard to understand, but I'm willing to translate if you listen. This is FFFL, Brutalball Manager. Now look, I know a fantasy-style sports game already exists with Blood Bowl, but let's face it, that's a board game, not a simulation sports game. Also, Games Workshop fell into the same trap that these other sports games did. There's 3 Blood Bowl games. Guess what's changed in all 3 of them? There's now an in-game currency. Fucking shocking. In comes Brutalball Manager. I know, it's an absolute eyesore and the UI looks like it was designed for a coding competition in 2008, but trust me, that's part of its charm. Once you look past its scrungly exterior, you'll find that this game has a deep customizable sandbox experience with an emphasis on simulation-style American football in a fantasy setting. With murder. When you first open the game, it's definitely a little overwhelming with the information that they throw at you. So I'm here to guide you. First, let's start a league. Give it a good name, and then here's the base settings. Now, the first time you create a league, the game will recommend that you start a league on the base settings. I also recommend this, as it's good for you to understand the game first. Once you do, there's a crazy amount of customization and sliders for you to adjust for your perfect experience. And here's the list of all the teams in your league. There's going to be 24 teams, with 2 major conferences, each with 2 divisions, all of which you can rename. The game starts by giving you control of every single team. I recommend turning them all to AI and then picking one team for you to control. That way you can understand the game mechanics and how it affects your team. Later on, if you'd like to control all the teams, kind of like David Stern, then you have that option. Once you've selected your team, you're ready to enter your league. Here's where you select a coach. Each team starts with 1 coach, but you have 3 that you can choose to replace him with. Every coach has a different range for each concept. For instance, run. The higher this number is, the more likely it is for your team to run. Pretty simple, eh? And now we're going to get into the draft. It's going to generate a bunch of random different players, all with different levels of experience, skill level, and attributes. You and every team in the league will take turns drafting these players just like any other fantasy draft, except fantasy has a whole different meaning here. I won't go too much into detail on what every attribute is, but just know the greenish purple numbers are good. Yellow and red is bad. When selecting a player, you can see his or her beautiful mug at the top along with their name. You'll also notice that they each have different races. Your player's race helps decide what that player is naturally good at. Minotaurs, great at blocking and whooping ass. Goblins, they're fast, dodgy, tricksy, and have the physicality of wet paper. You'll notice that some races have a variant, such as Storm Orcs or Swamp Dragonkin. These variants further help define what each character is good at, and adds an extra layer of depth to your roster. Now, before you make any decisions on who you want to draft, I should probably explain the lineups first for this game. This is 8-on-8 American-style football. On offense, you have 3 blockers, 3 runners, and 2 gunners. On defense, you have 3 defensive line, 3 linebackers, and 2 covers. For your first draft, it might be recommended that you let the AI draft the team for you. Ultimately, I think that's up to you. I think most of us simulation sports fans are pretty good at hovering each attribute and deciding if that's the player that we want. So ultimately, that's up to you. But I like to draft my own team and feel very connected to my players. Now with your team created, we can start the season. There's a lot of different menus here, but let's first go into the schedule. The regular season lasts 10 weeks, with the best 8 teams making the playoffs at the end. Let's go ahead and hop into a game now. Now this is where I'm going to lose a lot of you head-to-head nerds. Sorry guys, but you don't actually play during these games. The players play for you. You're just the coach. They will make decisions based on their own attributes and skills, and the coaching concepts that you selected at the start of the season. I was pleasantly surprised to see that the game is animated just enough to be interesting to watch. And during the game, you can manually make substitutions or let the AI coach handle it. For now, I say leave it automated until you understand a little more about the game. Touchdowns only count as 1 point and there's no kicking yet. There might be in a future update, but we'll have to wait and see. Once your game is completed, you'll still need to simulate the rest of the league's games. Now, you can go ahead and watch each game if you really want to, but I recommend clicking the Simulate Week button. The cool part about this is the games are still being played as if you were watching them. It's just happening at like 20 times speed. This means the game is still playing what is being simulated. Unlike college football, who likes to randomly decide that your 5-star school just couldn't cut it against FCS West, because their simulation is largely illogical. This way, games will always play out the same way, regardless of how fast you simulate them. This alone was a selling point for me on this game. At the end of each week, you may or may not have events that you need to make decisions for. For example, I had an elf star player that was killing it on my team, but we started the season 0-4. After the 4th game, he had enough and started pointing fingers at another player, calling them a bum. Now I had to decide between releasing the bum to make my star player happy, or keep the bum and piss off both my star player and fans. In the famous words of Dyn-Chise, he gone. And honestly, that's kinda it for the rest of— oh wait, nope, I forgot about the college players. This game will generate multiple college teams to then simulate a college season. You can then check the stats of all these college players, allowing you to not only scout these players through statistics, but you can also physically watch the games too. Please show me another current simulation sports game that has this. Quick tip for the college games. It tends to bug out, especially during the season. So this is the workaround I found. Once you clicked on college games and the college teams have been generated, back out to the main menu. Once you've backed out, you should be able to come back into your save file and then run all the college games. Do this again once you want to go back to simulating your regular season games, because for some reason the bug will happen again. Long story short, back out to the main menu whenever you want to swap between college and pro level games. Once the regular season is over, you have the end of season awards. This will include the MVP, the most brutal player of the year, rookie of the year, all-star team, the all-offensive, all-defensive, it's all there for you. These end-of-season awards will stick with these players for the rest of their careers. From now on, you'll be able to see an icon that represents them as an MVP or all-star or whatever award that they received. Very nice touch. Once the playoffs and the championship are over, you now have the off-season. Then we go to the coach selection screen again. So if you didn't like your coach, or if you love your coach, it's kind of up to you. You can replace them with these 3, or you can decide to keep them. Now we can get into free agency. You now have the choice to release players from your roster. By the way, they don't tell you this, but you need to click on a player, click move player, and then there's the release button right there. Once you make room for some of the free agents, you usually have 3 choices. You don't have to sign them though. You can skip if you'd like, and just wait for the draft. Now, the draft has the same rules as American football. Picks are in order of worst record. So if everybody dies, you can fill some of those slots with some nervous young buck halflings. It works pretty much the same as the draft earlier, just all these players are rookies now. So try to find that hidden gem or that star player that you've been waiting on. And with that, that's everything in just one season. And I haven't even touched on team customization, history of leagues, Hall of Fame, modding the game mechanics. There's so much more. This game is a diamond in the rough. You want to know how much it costs? Nothing. It's free to play. It's less than a Madden card pack. It's less than 1,000 VC. It's less than the therapy I need to get over college football 26 being a dumpster fire. You get the idea, fellas. Give this shit a try. I promise you, nothing but good can come from it. And if you don't like it, just uninstall it. You didn't have to pay any money. Now, there is a $10 DLC, but it's opt-in. You don't need this. I played 3 full seasons without the DLC and had a blast. And in the DLC, it even lists, I will be adding any future updates will either be free or added to this DLC. And that's pretty much it. That's about as much as I've written for the script. I plan on making a ton of content based around this game, so if this game seems like up your alley, give it a try, maybe subscribe, and like the video if you'd like. I hope you enjoyed the offer, and have a good one, guys.